Okay, it's 4 o'clock, so I call the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Committee meeting to order. May I have the motion on minutes?
adoption.
Move second, those in favor, opposed, motion carry. And the next committee meeting will be held on February 28th, same time, same place. And before we go to the presentation, I know that we have an introduction to make.
Good afternoon, committee. I wanted to introduce our new Director of Recreation and Sports Services, Keith Miller. He joined us about 3 weeks ago from the District of West Vancouver and comes to us with a wealth of experience from West Vancouver, Langley Township, as well as some other locations. So he's looking forward to working with you and our community and helping to progress recreation and sports services.
So welcome. So any question for Keith? No?
Lead him off.
Director of Recreation and Sports Services.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, since I don't have any request to add or to delete anything from the agenda, so I would just go with what we have. The first item on the agenda is the presentation by staff on the Richmond History Theme Series. Rebecca?
Good afternoon to the committee members. I'm very pleased to present today the first of a collection of 10 videos that the Richmond Museum team has produced on behalf of the city that's going to showcase various stories of Richmond's past and present that really give a sense of the history and heritage of our community. The remainder of the videos will be distributed and launched over the course of the next few months in conjunction with various anniversaries and commemoration events as appropriate to the video theme. So without further ado, here's A Growth of a City.
The Richmond that you see today may at first glance seem different from 100 years ago, but today's city is very much rooted in our past. Richmond, bordered by the Fraser River and the Georgia Strait, has always been a watery place, made up of islands that shift with the currents and rainfall. Indigenous nations traveled along these waterways, harvesting berries and roots, hunting deer and beaver, fishing for salmon and sturgeon. These same watery routes were traveled by early settlers who saw challenges in what lay before them. While the land was already being used, settlers sought to make it theirs in the likeness of their homelands. A survey created a grid system which divided the land into equal squares to be sold, settled, and farmed. Like indigenous nations before them, settlers used the waterways to travel between places, and because most of the land was so wet, colonial settlements were built on the few places that were dry enough for construction. Early settlers built dikes and ditches to drain the land, replacing the fishing and navigation sloughs that were used for many generations by diverse indigenous nations. Once Richmond dried out, construction began. Workers, including Chinese laborers, most from the provinces of Guangdong and Fujian, built roads, rail, dikes, bridges, and tram lines. In Steveston, housing for workers was built close to the water, with the white managers' homes constructed farther inland. On November 10, 1879, Lulu Island and Sea Island were incorporated as the township of Richmond. The first town hall was constructed along with stores. The Japanese Fishermen's Benevolent Society funded the first hospital in Richmond, which was open to everyone. Over the next few decades, Richmond continued to grow. In 1909, the Minaroo Racetrack became an early airfield, signaling a new era of growth. A major milestone would be reached with the opening of the Vancouver Airport in 1931. With the automobile and construction of the Oak Street Bridge and the George Massey Tunnel, Richmond's population grew and suburban neighborhoods sprung up seemingly overnight. shopping malls soon followed, as well as Canada's first McDonald's. It wasn't until the 1960s that the building code was changed to allow for buildings higher than 3 stories. Richmond was on its way to becoming a global city. Starting in the 1970s, larger waves of immigrants from the Philippines, Taiwan, Vietnam, and India would settle in Richmond. In the late 80s, Hong Kong residents, uncertain about the transfer of Hong Kong from the UK to China, began to search for homes elsewhere. These transformations would make Richmond a destination. Today, Chinese immigrants comprise the largest groups of the new Richmond residents. This has ushered in a new era of urban growth in Richmond, with another milestone set by the 2009 completion of the Rapid Transit Canada line ahead of the 2010 Olympics. The Richmond that you see today may at first glance seem very different from 100 years ago, but today's city is very much rooted in our past. It continues to be an important place for Indigenous peoples who have maintained strong connections to the area. It is a garden city by nature that embraces and celebrates its diversity, welcomes newcomers, and plans for future generations.
Okay, very good. Any questions, comments? No? Oh, Andy?
You want us to put it on or no? Doesn't matter. I just thought that was excellent, though. Made me feel really old with the McDonald's with only 5 billion people on it, but it was nice. And just, can you remind us, where will that video be used primarily?
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, the video will be available on the city's YouTube channel as well as the Richmond Museum website. And then various videos will be shown in person at different locations. This particular video, we don't necessarily have an in-person location identified, other than the Richmond Museum will show all 10 of the collection once they're launched. So,
And how about the school district? Do you think that would be a venue too?
the Richmond Museum, through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, the Richmond Museum team is working with the school district to develop support materials that help connect the videos to different curriculums and grade levels. And that will be introduced over the course of the year as well.
It was great, thanks.
Carol?
Thank you. That was really interesting. I can't understand, though, why you didn't have the slip and slide on that video. That was like a mainstay when I was growing up. Would it be possible, at the Oval, they've got this kind of cool TV screen that has different videos with athletes and whatnot. Do you think it'd be possible to do something like that, maybe in a smaller scale at City Hall, so that when people come to City Hall, they could, push a button and see one of the 10 videos?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, certainly technically those things are possible, and that would be at council's discretion.
Yeah, I think that's something we should consider. I mean, people come to City Hall to pay their taxes, to, meet with staff, and this is where people come. And if it's going to be anywhere, it should be here.
Yes, so maybe staff can take that as advisement and then see, what we can do within City Hall building. Good.
Even just a TV screen like on the wall.
Yeah. Okay, any further questions? If not, thank you very much. Yeah, this is very exciting. Okay, moving on to item number 2, 2023 Community Mural Programs Projects. So anything to add to the report or any highlights you want to make?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, any questions? Andy?
Move the recommendation.
Move? You want
Sure,
to?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Andy?
Yeah, not really any questions. I just wanted to say, thank you. Good report through the chair. And I like the locations that have been identified, in particular, the South Arm Pool area and the Stevenson Pool area, because I spent a few hours hanging out around pools. And at the Stevenson Pool, for instance, in that club, the Kigus, which was part of the process, which was really good too, to include them, that club's going to turn 65 next year. So it's been around serving many people. I know Councillor McNulty has opened up a lot of races at the Icebreaker swim meet. So those are right by the marshalling area, so they are high profile. Every family that comes there from all over the Lower Mainland will be sitting there looking at that the whole time. And same with the second area there, which is by the concession stand. So yeah, I just thought it was overall a really good choice of locations, and I look forward to it. Thanks.
Yeah, Carol?
Thank you very much. Really happy to see the mural program, especially when the murals tell a story about the history of Richmond. I think art is nice, but it's really nice if they can be interactive that way. And I understand that the $30,000 was funded by contributions to the Public Art Reserve Program, and I believe that came from developers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So taxpayers, don't worry. You get to enjoy it, but you don't have to pay for it. Thank you.
Laura?
Thank you, through the chair. Just want to comment how much I enjoyed reading the report and seeing the artists. I think it would have been a really interesting process matching the artist to the project. It doesn't disclose how that happens, but it was really cool to see all the artists and what kind of stuff they do, and it's going to be really great. Thank you so much.
No, I have a question. Now, we have more applications than the projects that we approve. So we've got nine applications, and we have only 5 locations picked. So what will happen to the rest? Will they be on a waiting list, or will we calling for offers again sometime this year?
I will find out for you and confirm, but my understanding is every year we do a call for walls. So it's a new group every year that are being approached.
Okay, good, thank you. So any further questions? So going to move and seconded. I call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to number 3. Application by the City of Richmond for Heritage Alternation Permit at 6511 Day Road, London Farm. Hi. So anything you want to add to the report?
Staff have nothing to add and are open to questions.
Okay. So, Michael?
Through the chair to staff, just a question. I used to be the council liaison for the Heritage Commission, and I did note that they had a suggestion that we have more horizontal features as opposed to what's on page 51, 52, that kind of curved top to the sign. And then I read in the report that staff took it into account, and I'd just like if you could comment a little bit on how you came to kind of stick to the modern approach as opposed to the historical look.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf. The sign that was proposed was developed in cooperation with the London Heritage Farm Society. The design was based on previously approved signs as well as the visual identity that is within the package. Unfortunately, that information wasn't conveyed as well to the Heritage Commission. And due to time constraints, to re-engage with the society would have been challenging. So we made the decision to move forward with the existing design.
Okay, great, thanks, that's all.
Carol? Thank you very much. Great report. So I was looking on page 31, and it states that the funding of $612,000 for the renewal plan includes the boardwalk, a replacement or orientation sign, and other issues. And then there was an additional city received $459,000 in grant funding. Where did that come from?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, staff put forward an application for a grant. It's from the federal government.
Federal government.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, London, I used to be a liaison to the London Farm, and it seemed really underutilized. So I'm really pleased to see that money's being put into this very valuable asset, and hopefully that will draw more visitors in. So good job. Thank you.
Laura?
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Day asked my first question, so I'll go to my next one. On the boardwalk area where it's going to be replacing, affecting some of the bulrushes that are there temporarily, and that they're expected to grow back. Do you happen to know if the red-winged blackbirds nest in those bulrushes?
Through the chair to Councillor Gillanders, we're outside of nesting season.
Perfect.
So, yeah, we would be doing a bird nest survey if we were within nesting season, but we're
Yeah.
outside of that.
That's great. Yeah, I was just going to ask if it was going to be outside of nesting season. Thank you. And then on PRCS 55, it mentions, is this the same thing or is this the next item? Oh, maybe that's the next item.
Right, okay. Andy?
That's okay. Yeah, thank you. That's great.
Thank you, through the chair. Well, thanks for another report from your area. The London Farm Heritage Site, I know because I'm the liaison now, and they're super excited about all the work that's happening down there and all the great work that city staff have done, including working together on obtaining grants. And with the Heritage Sign issue, I was a part of the process that we used for all the historic sites to identify what kind of branding we would use. And I know that I did read in the report, there was one comment about that, but I also know that the Heritage Society there, the London Heritage Farm, is super excited about that as well. They really like how that sign turned out. So I think it probably is the appropriate thing to do is to stick with that, because there was a theme that went with the other historic sites as well. So it's not in isolation. So that was really good. And just the boardwalk that's going to be put in is going to open up that whole other area. And over the pond, that's going to open up all of that, and the bulrushes will grow back, and that'll be great. Because right now, when you're down there, it's a little bit neglected in terms of the attention it gets from the public. And I think it's appropriate too to just compliment the board down there. I've just observed that they're doing a fantastic job as well, and I'm sure you have too. And I think it is coming to life a lot more and getting more animated all the time. So thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, staff recommendation has been moved and seconded. So call the question, those in favor, opposed, motion carry. Moving on to item number 4, another application by the City of Richmond at 5180 Westwater Drive, which is the Britannia Shipyards. So anything to add to the report?
To the chair, there's no further comments, but we're happy to take questions.
Any questions? Nora?
Thank you. Thank you through the chair. Just a question on PCRS 55. When it mentions the commission noted that the original material should be used on the roof, and then it says, so staff have considered and will revert back to a like-for-like roof replacement. I didn't know what like-for-like meant. Does that mean it is going to be like the original material?
Through the chair to Councillor Gillanders, the current roofing is a cedar shingle, and due to location, we had proposed an alternative, but after further consideration, determined that we would continue with the cedar shingle.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the wording just didn't make that totally clear to me, so but that's great. Thank you.
Michael?
Thanks. Through the chair, just to follow up on that same point, I did note the attachment 3 on page 110, that was the Heritage Commission meeting minutes, and it was a little bit clear to make sense there what the like for like was. So talked about noting that the cedar roof can last long even on a low pitched roof if installed properly. So I just wanted to comment to staff, thanks for taking their consideration into your eventual decision on this. And then my other question was about, I lost the page, was the skylights. It said something about abandoned skylights, and they're going to be removed because historically there wouldn't have been skylights there. Is that the main reason they're being removed, or did they used to have like some ventilation function? I don't recall where these are.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, the current plan is not to remove the skylights. The skylights in the Murakami boat builders will be replaced with something that's more in keeping with a heritage aesthetic. And the skylights in the Richmond boat builders will be reinstated. They were in the last rehabilitation of the building were covered up. So those will be reinstated. We had originally considered removing skylights from Murakami Boatworks, and after discovering through research that they were part of the original fabric, we reconsidered that, and they will be remaining.
Yeah, I would think that would have been one of the good early uses of skylights, to let light in when you're working on boats throughout the year in dark environments. So great, thanks.
Carol?
Very ambitious project, and I'm so pleased that we're jumping this hurdle so that we can move on with it. When we started in October 2020 to approve the $2.125 million, and I just couldn't be happier, and I can guarantee you if retired Councillor Harold Steves was here today, he'd be going high five. So thank you for that.
Okay, anything? Oh, Andy?
Quick comment through the chair, thank you. Really good report, and this is a huge investment in our heritage and history of Richmond, which is timely considering the video. With the buildings, if you are in them and you look out from the inside, like with the boat builders, it looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. So in order to maintain these and keep them for generations to come and make it kind of the jewel historic attraction that it is in Richmond, this is a very timely and wise investment to make. Just with the sump pumps for the Chinese bunkhouse, I have noticed when I've been in there, there was a bit of a, I'll call it an odor or whatever. So what did we have in there before? Was that a manual system to pump the water out, or how did we get the water from below it to keep it low so it doesn't hit the floor?
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, I'll defer to my colleague Martin Eunice.
Through the chair to Councillor Hobbs, it was manually being removed bit by bit. Now we are developing a system to ensure that even when the water ingress happens, nothing will happen, no mold or anything else will happen, and we're also applying that for the other 4 buildings to ensure that if water ingress happens, because when they were built without waterproof membrane, so
Sure.
We are addressing the after the fact, so we're trying to find ways to mitigate any kind of impact on them, and we have designed a solution for it.
That's a great thing to do, great solution to have there. Thank you, thank you.
Any further comments, questions? No? Do I have a mover for the motion? Who seconded? Got a question? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 5, Simpson Heritage Sites Governance. Rebecca?
I have nothing further to add to the report, but I'm happy to take questions.
Any questions? Carol?
Thank you so much for this report. On PRCS 141, I read in the last paragraph that each board was contacted by city staff to see if we should restructure the governance of the heritage sites to have like one overriding board. And I was interested to see that the 4 societies that were contacted, London Heritage Farm, Britannia Shipyards, Steveston Historical Society, and the Gulf of Georgia Cannery, said, no, we want to keep it the way it is. And why did we do this in the first place? Like, it was kind of working, so why were we looking at restructuring to do a overall governance structure change?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, this report was written in response to a referral from committee back in 2019. Okay. I think the response was delayed due to COVID, and certainly there have been a lot of evolution among those societies over the past few years. Yeah. And now seemed like the time to respond because they're at a bit of a stasis point at the moment.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did the talk with them and then confirmed that everyone's working good in their societies. But it's always good, I think, and it is council's responsibility to look at all options. And so thank you for a very thorough investigation into this and coming up with what I believe is the right decision. So thank you.
Nora?
Well, Councillor Day asked my question again. So, because I wasn't on council at the time, so I was just wondering what the situation was in 2019 that it seemed we needed to look at the governance of those boards, but if they're all working well now, and I agree with your recommendation to keep it as it is. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Day also asked my question.
Right?
Michael?
I won't cut things.
Thanks. Just through the chair, a few questions as well. So if I recall, when this was brought forward, there's a number of reasons why. I think one was the need for dredging and coordination around Scotch Pond and which group would work with them. So my first question is, on page 142, it mentions the Scotch Pond Heritage Cooperative. Do they meet monthly? Do we have any insight into what they plan to do when it comes to dredging or supporting that region of Steveston?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, the Scotch Pond Heritage Cooperative is still active. They're not the type of group, they're not necessarily a nonprofit society that has regular meetings and such, although they do have an annual general meeting. And we liaise with them on a regular basis. We have ongoing conversations about how we can work collaboratively to improve the site, including the dredging, which is a significant challenge for both them and our facility operations as well. We are having ongoing discussions and plan to bring a report back to council on what could be done with Scotch Pond this year.
And then follow up on that. So in that report that's mentioned, it'll highlight options for supporting the dredging work, or?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, the idea of dredging will be addressed in that as well. And I believe my colleague Todd would like to add to that as well.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, as you know, we are having ongoing discussions about dredging of the Cannery Channel. We had one of our first meetings last week with our stakeholder group, and we will have some follow-up meetings earlier this spring where we will be coming back to council with hopefully some partnership and collaboration opportunities, both for the Cannery Channel and our side tributary channels.
Just to follow up on that, do we know if the Ducks Unlimited work is done? Because I remember that was going to happen right in the Canoe Pass, just out beyond there, and that perhaps that same equipment, while it's out there and it's pushing sand from one area to another area, maybe we could use that equipment at the site.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, no, Duck Limited work is still ongoing. I think the work that you're referring is the sedimentation work offshore, so this is still ongoing. There's been some delay that the group communicated to the city due to weather, etc. But the work is still ongoing.
Oh, okay, thanks. Through the chair, just another question then. It mentioned at the bottom, 141, the new Umbrella Steveston Heritage Site website, which I explored. And is there more to come on that site? Like, there's nothing on there about Scotch Pond, or at least that I found. Is there more to be added to that Steveston Heritage Site, or is it kind of new and set now?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, it is intended to be a living website, so there will constantly be content added. It is primarily focused on drawing visitors to the 4 sites that actively present heritage to visitors, tourists, locals. Scotch Pond, the mandate for that facility is not to present heritage. It's more of a passive presentation than an active presentation. And its primary mandate is to serve as a moorage facility. So there is mention of it on the website, but very briefly, as it's not really a publicly accessible site that we intend to draw additional visitors to.
And my last follow-up on that is does that site get a lot of activity, a lot of people viewing it, and could that be a site where we host ongoing comments for what heritage features could come from the Phoenix Netloft project? I'm just thinking if people are already going to that site, they probably have some knowledge on the features and maybe might see an opportunity to put a comment in about what could be added with that project.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I believe that people's experience of that site is primarily from Garry Point Park as sort of a heritage feature of the park rather than the facility itself. Because the facility has been exclusively used by the cooperative for many years, many members of the public won't really know what the facility is about. I think in terms of potential future use of the facility, I think there are opportunities to look at how that future use coordinates with the future use of the Phoenix Netloft, and those things will be considered together as we develop the program plan for the Phoenix Netloft.
Great, thank you.
Good, so any further questions, comments? To the mover for the motion?
Recommendation.
Move seconded, call the question, those in favor, opposed, motion carry. Thank you very much. Now we go to manager's report.
Hello, committee. Thank you for the opportunity to share an update about the 2023 Neighborhood Celebration Grants Program, which launched earlier today. The Neighborhood Celebration Grants Program provides funding of up to $2,000 for Richmond-based neighborhood groups and not-for-profit community organizations to submit proposals for events and shared experiences that can be delivered between June 1st and December 31st of this year. Information about the program and a link to the online portal is now available on the city website at richmond.ca/celebrationgrant.
Good, thank you. Any questions? Carol?
Thank you for that. This has turned out to be quite a popular grant, and it's wonderful when you see the videos at the end of the year, with just a little snapshot of some of the events. If it should happen that you get far more grant applications than is anticipated, I would hope that you'd come back and advise council, because we can always top up the fund if necessary, if everyone agrees. Yeah. So please do, if suddenly, because with COVID being over, I anticipate that we could end up having a lot of pent-up demand. So, thank you.
You're good? Okay, good. So next.
Good afternoon. On the topic of grants,
Good news?
pardon me?
Good news?
Good news, great news, exciting news. I'm here to provide an update on some recent successful grant applications. The first is for the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association's Reaching Each and Every One Community Inclusion Grant, Community Intervention Grant, made possible through funding from the federal government to support community-led projects that remove barriers and increase participation rates in recreational sport for underrepresented groups. South Arm Community Association was awarded $10,000 to provide recreation and sport programs for neurodivergent children and their families. And City Centre Community Association, along with Steveston Community Society, were collectively awarded $17,500 to develop a multi-sport league for LGBTQ2S+ adults. Furthermore, the Richmond Curling Club received $23,000 through another grant, the Via Sport Rally Together Fund Sport Participation Grant Program, which is supported by the province of British Columbia and administered through Via Sport BC. The Curling Club will be using that funding to develop programs for women and girls and for volunteer development initiatives. So congratulations to these organizations.
Can we have a memo on that?
Absolutely.
Andy?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'm just curious about, like, how does that get sustained, though? For instance, with City Centre, the $17,500. Is this just good news and we can start it and then we have to work on the sustainability of it and
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Hobbs. That is typically the practice. If the grant program is successful, they work to either apply for further grants for sustainability of that initiative or work with the community association to fund the program moving forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great start.
Okay, okay, thank you. Next.
Good afternoon, committee. With Family Day coming on February 20th, we wanted to provide you with an update on some of the low-cost and free activities that are being planned throughout the Family Day weekend. A few highlights include the Richmond Nature Park and Nature House will have a free activity planned each day on the weekend from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. with eco-themed activities. The Richmond Children's Arts Festival will feature a full day of hands-on fun on Family Day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Public Library and Cultural Center with live performances, creative activities, and workshops for children aged 3 to 12. And don't miss the screening of the free, family-friendly movie Minions: The Rise of Gru while splashing or floating in the wave pool at Watermania on Sunday, February 19th from 7 to 9 p.m. A full list of activities will soon be available on richmond.ca, and activities will also be promoted through social media, the Community Services e-newsletter, and at all recreation facilities. We anticipate that many of the activities will be supported by the Family Day Grant Program funded by the Province of British Columbia and administered through the BC Recreation and Parks Association.
Carol?
That sounds like so much fun. Everyone's going to have a blast. Is there a chance we could run a small ad with just like a little checklist of all the fun things to do in the Richmond News so that everyone can see it?
Through the chair to Councillor Day, that is certainly something that could be considered.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Any further manager's report? No? Michael, I know that you have a question.
Yeah, just two, if I may, two points or questions. One is, it wasn't in our open referrals package, but I recall 2 years ago or so asking for staff to look into signage on the Fraser River when recreational users, kayakers, paddleboarders, whatever, are either going out from Steveston and not sure that there's like fast-moving currents that are going to send them away. Or the other one I brought up was around the middle arm when boat users or dragon boat, whatever, if they go too far, they're getting into like an active flight path for the floatplanes. Did staff look into that and maybe the signage couldn't get put out there because it's not in our jurisdiction, those areas, or do we know where that went?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I know we did do some signage on, I'll say, water access in a number of spots. I'll have to dig up the exact referral and see where we ended up on that.
Okay, yeah, so then, yeah, I don't recall seeing any, but maybe I don't use the specific ones. So I'm thinking at the boat launch at end of 2 Road, the one at McDonald Beach, perhaps those are areas where signage.
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf. Yes, I know we did some at Gary Point, McDonald Beach are the two that come to mind, but the others I'll have to check on.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if we can hang signs from 2 Road Bridge or something, but that might be something.
Yeah, can get a move from staff on
just a quick follow-up on that. And then thanks, my second one, I haven't been yet. I keep getting requests from residents to go to Delta Ladner and check out their brand new covered multi-sport court. It's like a lacrosse box with a big roof on it. And lots of users of our facilities, like the one at Burnett or Brighouse over here, were wondering where's ours, and not just for lacrosse or hockey or roller sports, but the one in Delta here also provides multi-use, so there's basketball nets set up. So our staff looking into that, and is that perhaps going to come in the referral? I think it's under Sport Facility Needs Task Force update, which is coming Q2. Is that where we might hear something like this?
Through the chair to Councillor Wolf, I'm not familiar with the Delta application, but certainly staff will now take a look with you or in addition to you at what that particular facility involves. Under the Sport Facility Needs Assessment, there is, I believe, a request for a covered court, and so it is something that is being considered, but we'll go and do some research on this as well.
Great, yeah, I think just to follow up info is, I think it was meant to be a $1.9 million project, and they got almost half of that from grants. So, and it helps to not have to build a whole large facility with a big foundation. You can just cover an existing facility. But I also did get comments from people who have used that site and many of ours, and they say ours are better in almost all categories. But the asphalt covering wears out because it's exposed to the weather. Our boards are really good, but then we also have the lack of using it in the wet season. So, yeah.
Just staff will follow up on that. Yeah. Carol, you got a question?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on the signs for the Fraser River. I was at a luncheon in Steveston at the Steveston Community Center on Sunday, and I had a fisherman come up to me and say, you know, I've seen kayakers and paddlers standing on boards out there, and he says they don't know how swift those currents are, and being a fisherman, he's very well versed in it, and he said that if you get out in the middle, you're gone. You're 30 minutes later, you're in the middle of the strait. And he said that there should be signs that he specifically said warning deadly swift currents. And I thought that's something we should really do. Like, I mean, I know I've kayaked around, Steveston Island, and I always stay really, really close, like, really close to the island, because if you do get any distance out at all, you're gone. And I think it's something we should strongly consider. I did go out and look after he spoke to me, and there's signs that say no swimming and no fishing. But people might think that's for another reason. They really don't know about those swift, deadly currents. So I'd implore you to definitely look into that, please.
Okay, thanks for that. We'll take that under consideration.
Thank you so much.
So anything further? If not, kind of a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Move, the motion. So, meeting adjourned.